Yo, put it. For the first round, I think that was executed perfectly. You guys listened to the game plan. The amount of people that I saw get slapped off on their team, amazing. When we pulled back onto the center platform and we fought as a team, they absolutely got decimated. I think we only lost about 11 out of 36, which
But yeah,
obviously
it's only 11.
still room for improvement, but 11 out of 36 in the first round was great. So well done for that first round. You guys listened to everything. Um, Second round, I believe we lost, and I can't remember why. It was, I think it was just they
It
overwhelmed
was
us a little
conflicting
bit.
orders. You had very conflicting orders
Oh
during
yeah,
round
that
two.
that was it. It was the round where we
Yeah.
jumped on the roof, then tried going inside. Yeah, so that round, that was my fault. That was Celtic's fault. Kai Knight was right. We kept swapping plans too much. We decided to jump on the roof, and then one of us said, "Oh, let's go to the bridge." One of us said, "Go inside." Scattered comms, scattered our team. It's not your guys' fault. You were like probably thinking, "Oh, are we on the bridge or are we inside?" So I understand that. I take accountability for it. Celtic probably does too. So
Yeah,
that's our fault.
my bad.
The round after that, we won again. But however, even if we did win, the amount of times that I shouted, fight on the centre platform instead of the bridge, and you guys were still pulling back to the other side of the map practically, was unacceptable. Yeah, it's fine, Vess, I won't. I wasn't going to anyways, but that round, besides the miscoordination, we won the round. That's all that matters. However, I wasn't happy with the overall performance of that round. The round after that, I thought we could try a holding play because we didn't try it. And Kai Knight was not Kai Knight. Celtic was right after that. We had no exit point, unlike them. We kind of just had to start retreating to slopes. However, they could retreat to bridge, and it kind of overwhelmed us. So that was my bad. The last round, again, you guys were failing at times to listen to orders. However, you did play your life a bit better. I'm gonna credit these guys, even though it was accidental. Emperor and whoever that ST was, who dragged about
X54.
yeah. No. There was an ST and Emperor.
Morok.
It was Morok. They dragged about 6, 7 people's attention and made them drop down, almost
The
impossible
Jedi-
for them to go back up.
The Jedi are so stupid. I don't understand why they would just send 7 people to deal with 2 people. It allowed us to search
Well,
there.
if I can ask, who were those 7 people? TG by chance?
Nope.
No,
It
it
was just a
wasn't.
bunch of random
It's
kids from the main boss.
a couple blunders I saw on the Jedi's part is that for the first 2 rounds they had a fucking music bot up on their stage blaring white girl music.
What?
And then I also noticed that their TG wasn't in their main rally call. They had a separate call with TG, and like that can work on a different map, but not this map. No, you need all your forces in one call on this map because your side force is not going to be able to act as well as it can if it doesn't know exactly what the main force is doing. Because you don't know what the hell the main force is going to do. Are they going to be on bridge? Are they going to be on platform? Are they going to be on roof? We don't know. So
Yeah.
that was a big blunder on their part. I think that if this went to 5, I think the Jedi might have won, just because like they have this tendency to team fight a little bit better than you guys without commands, because their commanders were kind of fucking quiet as shit. They didn't say anything. You guys are better in ones, they're better in teams, and I think that if their commanders got their shit together, they probably would have won, just because of all the conflicting orders on this side. There was people just aggroing their asses off on this side, and
Saw it a lot.
yeah, a lot. And they aren't to be taken lightly. This was a 2-3. This was by the nails. Same way how you guys aren't to be taken lightly, because the last fight it was 4-5. Don't rest on your laurels. The Jedi made the mistake of doing that. Do not do what they did.
Yep. I agree. And like I said, this is our first raid with new commanders that have never worked together. So I've personally never worked with Celtic, Kyanite, and Dutch. However, I will admit they had good micromanaging when it needed to be there. Few honourable fighters that I thought I'd point out was X made a very good one. He'd dash in at times, and this is what I mean. You need to know when to be aggressive. X would dash in, get a kill, and come straight back out because he sees it. Astra, 1 round, 7 kill streak. Bread, first round, great. Emperor,
Yeah.
that last round, dragging them off, and
More.
sorry, I don't know what's called him. Morok, Kado, Strong. So Kado, I'm gonna call you Kado. Kado, you two. Overall, I'm impressed. However, there is a lot of room to improve. I agree. What I spot a lot in NSO is you guys 1v1 too much. There's too many 1v1 events. You use the mats all the time for 1v1s. At the end of the day, I could care less in terms of 1v1 ability. And I'm going to make an example. You look at me, for example. I'm better at Cali. I'm better than Cali at 1v1s. But when it comes to team fighting, Cali's a 10 times the better player.
I have
It
another
shouldn't
example
matter.
for you.
Uh,
Bamps is their Sword of the Order. I have
Yeah.
never seen him go on a high kill streak in Rage.
So
I
me,
don't know who that
1v1s
is.
don't fucking matter. They don't matter at all. People will notice to realize that. I want to see you guys be creative on mats, because that's what I do with these guys. I don't ever say let's go to stasis and 1v1. I always make them do team fights, 2v2s to get used to fighting with each other, 3v3s, 4v4s, outnumbered. I want to see you guys start doing more of that on mats. It may not sound fun, but it actually is quite fun, fighting in
Quite
some
fun.
situations, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is.
Kainet, Cal, and Raiden, if you're gonna host an IPR, start hosting more IPRs without raid points. Like, do like an IPR that we did with Kamino. And
Yes.
also check the events guideline. You can also host a universal combat training. Use those for team battles practice and health rotations. Because,
Yes.
like Fran said and Chaos, we're better in 1v1s, but we're worse in team fights against the Jedi. And we need to be good in both.
That's what I mean. Like, I am like going to admit this. You look at their average player. We fucking shit on them in average players. However, because they're better at team fighting than us, it brings them closer to us in terms of skill gap. I will gladly say that. Gladly. And fair play to them because they probably do more IPRs on maps like Kamino, Coruscant, where it's not raid points. Because raid points is what's his
Which
name?
an-
check
which
your
an-
I don't
light
see. I don't see a lot of
use
IPRs. I
on-
don't see a lot of IPRs from them actually. I think you guys
Yeah.
do more IPRs than they do. I just
they
think
do
it's
more
like a
raid
general
points
thing.
which aren't relevant.
Which in general, okay, so let me point out something. When you were speaking about XI4 and people being aggressive because they know when to look, I'm just gonna say it simply, you either have it or you don't. What I mean by that is 99% of you guys are not gonna be able to know when to go in and when to not to go in. That's fine. So you listen to the commander's orders, you follow what they say, and you sit back. XI4 might be able to. Okay, I see this pick. I'm gonna go and kill this guy real quick. Get a pick on this red health because I have high ACM, and I'm gonna back up because I know I'm gonna survive. Not everybody can see that, and not everybody can point that out. So just when you're fighting, make sure that your life is the most precious thing, not other people's lives. Not your life is the most important thing you can worry about in a raid, especially since in these types of TDM styles our entire score is based on how many people are alive. If we're all dead, if we're all alive. So just make sure to survive. When a commander's also always looking out for your best interests in terms of you surviving. So if they're saying, "Oh, consolidate in the center so we can defend each other, so we can stay alive," obviously, it's to stay alive. So just keep that in mind. Not everybody has it. Not everybody can notice aggression. So just play calm, play chill, and notice when someone's attacking you from behind or you need to back up. Because maybe me and Celtic won't be out there to say, okay, yada yada yada, back up. Just keep that in mind, please, when we're rating.
Mhm.
To harp on that
I'll
point.
say it
To
again
harp
in
on that
IPS.
point. To harp on that point. When people like XI4 and Bread and all the ST go in for those kills and they need to get out, if you're dead, they don't have anywhere to go. They need you just as much as you need them to go get those picks. Please
Yeah.
live.
Also, don't be sheeps. So, say for example, you see X dashing in. Don't dash in after him thinking, "Oh, fuck it, we're pushing." No. If X goes in there and sees an opportunity on a person who's red HP and seems completely unaware, gets that health pack, and jumps back. And I saw it happen. X actually dashed in. Someone came in after him and he died. That's why I went, who the fuck died up there? Someone died when they didn't need to die. But besides that, in terms of team fighting capability, we still need to get a lot better. So don't take the raid for granted despite winning. We're obviously going to take it as a win, and I'm proud of you guys for today's win, considering we never really play on this fucking map. However, team fighting, I'm expecting more from the main force leaders to host more, revolved around one lives instead of constant raid points, because that's going to teach you nothing. More one lives, more team fighting drills. If I need to help, I will, because I've been teaching these guys team fighting drills. Obviously, they've been getting better over time.
I think you should.
Play more.
TG
But
do.
I'll help. I'll help gladly. So, in the future, if I randomly host a fucking team fighting event, go to it. That's fine. ST will probably be there, and despite us obviously we're died low, not NSO, I don't really care. I want these guys to help you get better in terms of team fighting because we are fighting as one right now. But besides that, if any of you've got anything to say, just step forward in the line. If you've got any criticism, anything like that, just step forward. But
It's just important when it comes to movement as a player, another commander, use your ears, not your eyes. If you see XI4 moving but he isn't a commander, you don't listen to him.
And that one quote that I've stuck with by Vaughn, he said it, even if your commander makes a bad plan, still listen to him. And there was also another one, you don't know better than your commander. Just listen to those two and get it engraved in your mind, because you don't. You don't.
Yeah,
You don't
especially
know
since
better than us.
90% of you guys don't even have a mic, and you've never raid commanded before, so, you know. You don't understand the pressure that can come with it sometimes. So just listen.
So
All right, well, I'm gonna get back to my charity event.
Fine.
I just wanted to pop in.
That's fine.
I know,
Bye-bye.
Ferric, I know you got killed by
Bye.
teammates multiple times. We're gonna work on it. I tasked the Overseer Plus to focus more on team fights and health rotations rather than raid points.
I want to hear this quickly. Let's hear what the mobile monster has to say.
Oh, my apprentice did well, I think.
Alright. So, what I noticed
There we
is
go.
when people weren't following orders, personally, I feel like we shouldn't celebrate because we could have done a lot better. I agreed. I understand new commanders, but as an excuse, that's you basically just summed up what I've just said.
I'd say the most.
I'm proud of you, apprentice.
I'd say the most disappointing part of the when we were saying commands is like we pushed onto the left side and so many people were just going to the right, even though we clearly said go to the left. Like you guys just get picked off and then you know we're down people. Especially on that last round when we said push to the left, the amount of you I saw go to the right, you guys got picked off, and that's why we had some people stayed over there. The people who lived with like Emperor and Morok. I know you guys like lived in the end, but you still did go to the right when we clearly said go to the left.
Maybe they're all Australian, so they think left is right. I don't know. It's possible.
Alright, if you guys get confused before I say let's go to the left, simply take your two hands and form an L with your thumb and your pointer finger. The fingers that make an L is left. The one that makes an inverted L is right. I don't know if you knew that, but that's actually true. So please.
But
Reminds
like,
me
I
of a
feel like
Dutch
that's
program.
I think that's why we lost so many people when we moved. Because like when we Alex speak.
Huh? Whenever we are forming up and we are not supposed to go in front of our commanders who are commanding us, especially if they say, I'll bring you up X, because fuck
I
it,
don't
mate,
know
I
what
can't
that
be
means.
bothered with sags. Go on.
Jesus Christ, Roblox.
I think he
That's
means when we had a
okay.
formation going, some people just disobeyed it.
No, yeah, and they keep going in front like they want to be fucking a hero or something. Like, just go to the fucking back. Why are you jumping in front? Like, you're not gonna be seen as a hero. You're not gonna be famous. Like, calm down. Just if I'm here, stay here. Don't fucking jump in front like this. Am I understood?
Yeah, you're not getting an
Wait.
archive entry because
Yes,
you
add
win a
that
fight.
XI4.
Wait,
Yes, add that
wait,
XI4.
quickly, look in the chat.
No.
Wait, did that go through?
Okay.
But yeah, I agree. Let's not take the win for granted. Obviously, we will celebrate it because we won it at the end of the day. However, we got a lot of room a lot of room to improve on. So
I mean-
let's just make this. Let's just wrap it up because we've kept these guys here for a debrief, just repeating ourselves. What I want to see is more one life IPRs. I want to see more team fighting drills in the main force. I'll obviously do my bit with the ST, and I will help you guys out. That's all. Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill command you guys, so you are free to go. You're all dismissed.
Listen,
I'm
God
setting the
forbid,
stage.
like me and like another person are the only two people that host IPRs. So I think more HRs should be hosting them.
Yeah,
we
Raiden
have,
start
like-
hosting more.
We have like 9 people, and like the only people who host IPRs are like me and the IC, and then occasionally